Sure, I'm Giles Cottle. I'm the Product, Customer and Analytics Director at Genius Digital. And our mission is to work with pay TV operators to help them to use data to make better decisions and decisions that have a meaningful impact on their business. We have a product, the Insight platform, that operators can use to get viewing data out of all of their devices. And we then work with them to use that viewing data to solve business problems like churn, improving retention, getting better content deals, and advertising. Yeah, I think the intent has definitely always been there for operators to better understand their customers. I think that's something that they've wanted to do. I think the technology hasn't quite been there in the past. So in other verticals, say retail or travel, these companies understand how people are buying and how people are traveling because they have that data at their disposal. In TV, it's only really the increase in broadband penetration and the fact that the return path is there for more and more boxes that actually operators are getting that kind of view on how people are viewing their content and watching their services. So now that is something that in most markets is something that operators have access to, I think that TV will quite quickly catch up and really use big data in a more and more sophisticated way. And we're already seeing that with our customers. Yeah, I think there are definitely technical challenges. Working with data is difficult. Data is big and messy and unwieldy, and lots of work has to go into finessing that data into a form that our customers can use and that can be used as a starting point from which to take action to make decisions. I think there are definitely cultural issues that have to be overcome that are probably more challenging than some of the technical issues. With a lot of our customers, working with us means that usage of data is going from being just a small team, say a research team, who will look at data on a quarterly basis, to actually being something that the whole business uses on a day-to-day basis. So driving that culture from kind of manager down to exec level is really important, and that can be a challenge. I think there's also a perception challenge about data. Data is not a silver bullet that kind of instantly solves all of an operator's problems. It takes time, and it takes kind of test and learn, and the results will come, but it takes some time to get there first. So retention is a big one. So churn is an issue for all operators, and the addition of viewing data into the mix as a lens through which to look at retention and to try and understand whether a customer is in danger of churning away or not, is really invaluable. Coupled onto that is using the data to understand that once if a customer is at risk of leaving, what do you do to help them to help to mitigate that risk, to reduce that risk. So understanding what people watch and being able to use that to feed into retention offers and things like next best offer models is really invaluable. And I'd say finally, content costs is an important feature for all of our operators. Content is the biggest outlay of spend that operators make, and anything that they can use to help to kind of justify that spend, to understand which of their channels or which pieces of content are really performing and are really contributing to the bottom line is really valuable. Yeah, we're definitely seeing customers always wanted to understand how their consumers are using services like OTT and VOD, but what we're really seeing now is customers wanting a holistic view. So understanding not just how those services are used in and of themselves, but how they're used as part of the entire home entertainment experience. So looking at how customers move from linear to VOD, if they're watching an entire series just on linear and PVR, or whether they are increasingly moving between different viewing modes. So that, as I said, that kind of multimodal viewing is something that we are increasingly being asked about. I think that more and more of our customers are looking at advertising. Often when we work with a customer, the initial use cases for data are internal because they are just getting to grips with big data and understanding how to use it. But as that kind of journey progresses and they become more comfortable with data and how they can use data to sell targeted advertising, for example, becomes more and more interesting. I've been to NAB a few times. It is a great show. It's for us, obviously we're based in Europe, so it's really interesting to see how our US counterparts are using data and some of the things that some of the projects that they're working on. There's always a slightly different slant in the US to the rest of the world, so it's fun to see what's happening there. And it increasingly feels like a show that operators and vendors around the world are using to launch products. So it's always exciting to see kind of what's coming next in our industry.